Hello, Lisa, you are live on the Ashdown Jones lockdown lessons. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, Sam. Great to see you there.
Well, it's really nice. I was just saying this to Phil this morning. It's really nice to be connected to new business owners. Obviously, you're not a new business. I mean, to be connected to business owners that we don't already know. So this was a referral from Elaine Remy, who makes scrummy, yummy Jamaican rum cakes. Jamaican rum cakes, which are amazing. And she suggested that I speak to you. So thank you very much for agreeing to come on, and at very short notice as well. So I appreciate that too.
My pleasure.
So we're going to start off with telling everybody a little bit about what you do. This is going live onto the Ashdown Jones page, but it's also going into our Success at Marketing Club, which I can tell you about offline. But basically, it's a group of 330 local business owners all learning about marketing and supporting each other. So it's a great community network. And so one of the things we're going to talk about, Lisa, is how much you love the idea of a community network and how you support your local community and how they in turn support you. So we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about 5 ways of supporting and gaining support from your local community. But first, I want to know about you and Ginger Bakers. So what is Ginger Bakers? What do you do?
Okay, so we are a cake business, and we're called Ginger Bakers because I've got, in fact, they're right behind me there, 2 redheads. They're not that young anymore. Let me just lift the computer up.
Oh.
They weren't positioned there. One redhead there, my son Jake, and my daughter Nancy. They're a lot older than that now. They are 22 and 13. So
that's both redheaded then.
Both redheads. So within the family, we've got plenty of redheads. So I wish I was a redhead because I think it's a gorgeous hair color to have. But that's why we call Ginger Bakers, because of my redheaded children.
Well, I've got a redheaded daughter, although she's got brown eyes, so she's very auburn. She's got the most gorgeous flowing locks, dark red. She looks a bit like what's she called in The Brave, the Disney film.
Oh yes,
but she's not as red as that.
Yeah, that's my daughter, red and curly, long red curly hair.
Her name as well, Nancy. That actually sounds like a redheaded daughter.
It does suit her. It does suit her. So 14 years have been going. I started from my home kitchen. I was not a baker. I mean, I am now, and I'm, not to put anybody off. I love baking, and I've become quite accomplished at it. And we've got a good team at Ginger Bakers now. But I was an art therapist originally. But there's a lot of creativity in both of those things, I think. So we started Ginger Bakers.
You know Lucy Nicholson, don't you, from Lucy on the Plate? She's just joined us and said hello. She always says I'm not a cook. She obviously is a cook because she cooks, but that isn't her business. Her business is growing restaurants, which is different, isn't it?
And I think having your own business, and especially something where you're making and creating, it's just having that creativity. I think that's the key. And if you've got passion, you can learn, and you can, if you are determined and hardworking, you can get anything right, really. So
how did you even start thinking about baking if you'd been an art therapist before? How did that transition even happen?
Well, it transitioned it was quite streamlined, really. I moved to the Lake District. There wasn't a great deal of art therapy work. Well, not enough to provide enough work for me. And at the time, it was easier for me to go and look for another job, and that happened to be with catering. And so that's where I was, and I decided to get going with my own thing, and that's how Ginger Bakers started, and with lots of determination, passion, and love for the food industry in the Lake District and Cumbria. That's where we are 14 years later. Amazing. Supplying nationally now, so not just locally, but lots of independent cafes, farm shops, delis, and some chains as well, but not the big supermarkets. Supplying them with delicious cakes and bakes. So
would you say that your main thrust is kind of wholesale, but you do a bit of consumer as well?
Yeah, right. It is mainly wholesale and mainly within food service. And so now, during lockdown, that's pretty much gone. Hence, I am at home. So, mainly wholesale. We do lots of markets and events, and we have our own little shop, and we do online, so that we retail that way. And we do a bit of retail product, so packaged product that goes into the likes of booths and some farm shops. So we do a big cross section really of products. So we might take one product, but we might have in different formats. So it can be in a large format for cafes to cut and serve, or it might be packaged for a retail shelf.
Got you, got you. And I came into because you're at Plumgarths, and when you go into Plumgarths, on the left-hand side, you see the Two Sisters Cafe, and you're kind of up the little hill and on the left there, aren't you? So you're on the right as you go in. Yeah. So I went into Two Sisters recently to get some, just before lockdown, actually, to get some farm fresh, produce. And I thought, oh, quite fancy a cake. Came across to you, spent about £30.
Great.
The most amazing cakes. I could not walk out there without just buying one of everything. It was just it was a treat to even come in. So I think, if you haven't already experienced it, then, because I hadn't actually noticed you, I've got to admit, because obviously your main thrust is wholesale. I hadn't noticed you until I kind of accidentally found you, and now I know where you are. I can't wait to come back.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already them, go and see them as soon as you're able. As soon as Boris waves his magic wand, his big key, and says, right, off you go. So what we're here today to talk about is, if it's okay, to talk about the community, because community is very close to your heart. And as you know, the reason we're on this is because it's also very close to mine and us at Ashdown Jones. So just tell us a bit about where that feeling comes from then, and that need.
Yeah, I mean, within me as a person, personally, I came from a background where I was an art therapist and a counsellor prior to that, and a teacher, trained teacher as well. So I love working with people and being close to people and supporting people. So that's where my passion for it comes. And within Ginger Bakers, we heavily believe in that. Really, we take on, starting with students from local high schools for work placements, but also different kinds of placements too. We've been taking on. This comes into my 5 lockdown tips.
Yeah,
actually. But we really believe in working closely with people who need that support and we can offer something. So we try and do that.
Are we talking about people with special needs or mental health issues, or I don't want to? Is that the kind of thing that we're talking about here? Yeah. People that other companies might shy away from employing because maybe they don't feel like they can give them the level of support that they need. Maybe that's physical support with like where they're sitting or working, or whether it's mental health support, Yeah,
I mean, one of my tips would be, no matter how needy or bad you're feeling, there's going to be someone out there who is in a worse position, or who and there's always something you can give, always. And it takes time and energy and effort, but not bags of it. I mean, you only perhaps need to offer an hour a week to somebody, but that will make such a difference to their world. If you can provide something, anything. So we try and do that, and perhaps explain what we do for some people.
I'll just interject that actually, because Phil and I went to an event last summer and we saw an amazing entrepreneur on the stage there called Tom Billiou. No reason anybody would have heard of him in the UK, but he's massive in the US, and he has a supplements business, a health supplements business. And he is the first person ever to have sold a health and wellness business for $1 billion. And he built it up in something like 8 years. It was just ridiculous. And he's younger than me by a long way. And the way he did it was he only employed ex-felons, ex-criminals, people who had come out of prison. And, that's normally, as soon as you put, I've had a conviction, not me, but, somebody on a application form, you would think you would never hear from that employer again. Yeah. And he did the opposite. And yet he got an amazing, loyal, talented workforce that had made a mistake that was now trying to integrate into society. He did say, he admitted, they're a little bit cheaper than the average employee because, they don't have many options, but they work 10 times as hard. And actually, we've got a prejudice, haven't we? A prejudice as employers quite often, obviously you haven't, that thinking that somebody with extra needs is going to be too much for our company to bear. But actually it can give you so much back in turn.
Oh, it's so rewarding. And the support that we can give to people and what it gives to us back, and our whole working community. We're only a small team, but I know that the people that we work with just brighten our lives. We look forward to them coming, and it's just a great asset. So it if it's doing that for us, what it's doing for them is immense.
That's so lovely, isn't it? Okay, well, let's dive into the 5 tips that you've got prepared.
Well, my first one really is you know, in times of lockdown like this, we're all pretty needy. We're all in a difficult situation, but there are charities out there that are really desperate, and we are closed at the moment. We are not taking any income. However, there's other people. We've got our business still, and we're going to thrive. We're going to adapt, but we'll still be there. We're hardworking, determined. So it's a bit like the people in our community. There are charities out there as well that you can work closely with and help support. I just want to give a mention to Growing Well in Kendal, because they're a fantastic charity.
Is that Helen Pateman?
Yes. Yeah. So there's we've only recently been in the last, just over 12 months, perhaps a year and a half, become more involved with them. Close to my heart, because they're a charity that supports people with mental health difficulties, and we help support them, and they help support us. So I
met Helen at an event called, it was something, was it Martin Frickle's event? Was it called Wasted or something? Do you remember?
Oh, possibly using waste, leftover food.
That's right, yeah. And Growing Well with there, which was fantastic. I used to go to school with Helen when she wasn't paid. I used to go to school with Helen way back, but that was the first time that I'd seen this. It's almost like an underground charity, work going on that I didn't even know about, and thought it was fascinating.
Well, there's some amazing things that they do. They grow fantastic organic produce that we use in some of our products. That's one, so we buy that from them. We donate some money back. That's giving money back to help support the work that they do with people. So they have work placements. They have people working on their organic farm, growing this great produce and helping them get back into some kind of work, giving them support. I do a number of talks. They're very low level, casual, to WI groups and things like that. And if those kind of groups like to make contributions, so any contributions I receive go straight to Growing Well to keep their charity going. And in times like this, they're struggling, just like many people. And some funds have been deflected away from local charities. So that's I would just say, just think about your community. They can help you, you can help them, and it's just so rewarding.
I must admit, actually, Lucy, she'll hate me for saying this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. She asked me a few weeks ago when she did a live. This is Lucy Nicholson from Lucy on the Plate. She did a live on a lockdown lesson, and she did what's in my fridge. Brilliant, because she just closed the restaurant, so she had a fridge full of odds and ends, and she was making things out. She's now turned that into a daily life, and she messaged me privately and said, do you know any families that might benefit from me cooking for them and helping them out a little bit for any number of reasons? And there is actually a local family that I thought of straight away, and now Lucy's basically feeding them every day. And they're her biggest fan. They have been stuck. There's 5 children under the age of 10, and mum and dad, they've been stuck in their house with no real garden all this time. So Lucy's is the thing that they look forward to every day. And so I think you can help on a micro level as well, can't you? Not on...
Absolutely. And I think this time now that we're in has really highlighted that the people around you really matter.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, there's an advert on TV at the moment. I think it's for Nationwide, where she says it's a message to myself from 6 months ago, and then she said, "How are you?" And I really mean that, because we mean it when we ask now, "How are you?" And it's so true. We are starting to connect much deeper, aren't we? And actually, there are people out there that would really benefit from even just a call. Never mind, or something with yourself that you can give. So no, I love that.
Shall I move on to my next tip, because it relates to the first tip, and that's just local people, and something I was talking about just before on if you can, my tip would be, is for any business, if you can give someone a little bit of your time and energy, it will mean so much to them. So we've worked with people from Growing Well coming to our bakery. we've worked with local schools. We have a work placement at the moment. A young lady, well, not at the moment because we're closed, but a young lady comes to us one day a week, and she's just amazing. She's brilliant. We look forward to her coming. She lights up our day. And we were able to offer her something. It's not a lot, but a day a week, and that makes such a big difference to her. So there's, I know some businesses can't do it, but it's so worthwhile if you've got a little bit of time to give to somebody, a little gap in your day where you can offer some support and friendship and some skills as well. There's people out there who would really love to get their hands dirty or do some paperwork for somebody, or even a little bit of office tidying. I don't know, but there's all sorts of people who would benefit from lots of things within your businesses. So that would be just look for that little bit of space if you can.
I think people like to be asked as well, don't they? They like to feel useful and that they're doing something worthwhile, because I've got friends that are on lockdown at the moment and their job is an outside job and they can't do it, and they can't work from home, they can't do anything inside, and they're going slowly loopy with 4 walls and 2 kids driving them mad, for example, and that's hard, isn't it? So actually asking somebody if they'd like to do something for you, it might just give them an outlet as well. I've got a client at the moment actually, and she was really struggling last week. She got a newborn baby and she's trying to grow a business. And she's a coaching client, so I'm entitled to give her a kick every now and again. And I gave her a kick this week, and I said, right, this is your challenge for today. And I gave her something to do in that day that would normally take her a week, and she absolutely smashed it. And she said to me this morning, I feel so much better because she was set a challenge. She met that challenge, and those challenges can be tiny, like you say. It can be a really small challenge to somebody, or a favor that you ask, or whatever. And just, I think it benefits both parties. I think we think that we're asking a favor. And then, I don't like asking favors, but that person is giving something and they feel good.
And I think that's one of the hardest things to remember, isn't it? That realizing that you're not a burden, but actually asking someone to help you is a great thing for them.
Yeah. It really is. It's a gift both ways. A gift to accept a favor, I think. But going back to what you were saying, there are productive jobs that you could have done maybe in your business that somebody that isn't maybe highly skilled could do, and then that's giving something back, isn't it? So absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
And another sort of tip I would say that we have really benefited from, and I would urge people to do, and you may already do it in your businesses, but reaching out to your local community, as in your local businesses around you. We are very lucky that we are based at a place called Plumgarths, just outside Kendal, and on that site are several like-minded businesses. So most of us are food production businesses or food retail, and so we're all passionate about food, and we have a business opposite us, Lovingly Artisan, and a few years ago I'm so indebted to them, to Aidan at Lovingly Artisan. He reached out to us, opened up his bakery, and allowed us to go and make our cakes in his bread bakery after we'd been flooded and our premises were completely decimated. So within a couple of days he'd given me a call and said, look, Lisa, we've got a bakery, we don't use it 24 hours a day, please come and use the space. So we did, and from that we have ended up now with our own fabulous space up at Plumgarths. So those gestures, I'll be forever, if I could have that written on my gravestone when I go, I would, thanks to Aidan.
Oh, thanks, Aidan. That's amazing. Amazing.
And so we got going again within a few days. We now have a completely different premises, which are amazing. And so it was quite hard to accept that support and help, but I've learned from that, and I now accept help much more readily because it can transform things. I don't know. It felt like a big thing for Aidan to ask to open his bakery. It was, from my point of view, it was huge. To him, it might not have been very much, I'm not sure, but it was just fantastic support. So accept help, look for support from your neighbours and your friends and people around you, because we're in your hour of need. it might just be the answer that you were afraid to ask for that support. So yeah, try and be open, not guarded. Let people see you, be transparent, because I think it's really beneficial. For me, there's just nothing beneficial about being guarded and keeping your doors closed.
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, my friends know, you'll see me everywhere on social media. I'm the same person on social media as I am off social media. We all are here, really. We're all, authentic is one of our core values, and we challenge our team to practice authenticity by being the person that they are, online, offline, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, and people feel a bond with you, I think, when you do that. I'm doing a 10 o'clock news every day where I talk about my dating exploits and my, just live on Facebook for the world to see and laugh at. Tried to tell a joke one day, that didn't really work. But it's just, people will either connect with that or they won't, and that's fine. It's polarized, and I think people are afraid of that polarization.
Yeah,
I think you need to embrace it, because the people who are your haters, or just don't really like that, were never your clients anyway. So leave them for somebody else, leave them for a corporate business maybe. And the people who love it will absolutely love it, and they become your ardent followers. And the people who will step up. I asked just last week if anybody would want my dog. And I was walking through Bowness the other day because my dog's got cabin fever. And a lady that I hadn't met came rushing up to me and said, I will walk your dog, Sam. I will walk George. And I'm like, thank you, universe. It's so lovely. Yeah. Sorry, I feel as passionate as you do about this topic. I really do.
It's quite a transition, though, to put yourself in the front of the world, because social media, we're in front of the world. But in business, I would definitely say, let people in, let people see. The more people can see, the more support you'll get, really, as long as what you show them is a good thing.
Positive and authentic is my two kind of things.
Yeah.
I am very vulnerable when I'm on my little 10 o'clock talking about my, my Tinder exploits, but, and I think, but it's just me, it's just me. And I think that vulnerability actually, it garners support. You get support when you need it.
Definitely. Yeah. So that's my third tip, really. Just let people in, let people see your vulnerabilities, and and your local community are just the most passionate community. They're your biggest supporters as well.
They're amazing. Often. They're amazing. I mean, I lived in Kendal, and Kendal, Windermere, they're very different. But since I've only lived in Bowness for 2 months, I think I moved there 2 weeks before lockdown. So it's not been very long at all. And my community is just incredible. And I think what this being the situation has shown us is how strong our communities are. That we can realize the door goes, and the, helping out a friend and walking a dog and getting shopping. And this is what communities used to be like, isn't it?
People are so happy to help, aren't they? It's really personally rewarding to give someone a little bit of a hand.
Somebody would ask me for a favour. I feel like I've got favours galore to give, and nobody's asking me for any of them. So if somebody can ask me for a favour, I will feel so much happier.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next tip is, what people are all saying really now, and sort of don't panic. I'm saying that from my perspective in my business. We are closed. We made the decision to close because it wasn't safe to stay open, and also 90% of our business went. 90% of our business is servicing the hospitality industry, so it wasn't that difficult a decision. But I mean, there's potential, heaps and heaps of worries. What's going to happen? When are we going to reopen? There's staff to employ. There's overheads. But we're all in it together. I know we've all said this, but we all understand the situation. Some situations are a little bit different to others, but we're all here together. So I am really trying not to panic, and it will all be okay in the end. As human beings, we a lot of us do live roller coaster lives. Things happen to us. Our situations change. and we're still here. So we will, don't panic, and we will still be here. We've got our communities to support us, friends and family. So share your worries, try not to panic, and it will all be all right. The landscape is going to change. That is going to be for a good thing. That's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to that. So there was inevitably is going to be change, and it will all be all right.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in fact, I think that one of the challenges for us right now, not just as business owners, as people, is just stay in the present and enjoy what we're seeing, what we're looking at, what we're eating, you know, who we're with right now. Because if somebody told me and you, Lisa, in February where we would be in May, we would have gone, well, that's it then, business over.
Yeah.
But actually it hasn't happened. You know, we're still
that's right. And at the very beginning of all of this, I thought that was it. That was over. You know, I caught myself in those moments thinking, disaster. Absolutely. I cannot ride another storm out. I am spent. That's what my feeling was like. However, I'm here now in May, and it's sunny outside, and the whole picture feels quite sunny. Of course, people are suffering, and it's very difficult for all those people at the front line. But you know, it isn't disaster. And that sort of goes on to my fifth point, really, is really, I am going to really try my hardest, and everyone remind me if I'm not doing this, to relish those moments, to continue doing some of those things that I have enjoyed so much. Those quizzes with friends and family, dressing up in the most ridiculous costumes, singing with my awful singing voice. I've been doing a little bit of artwork, which I love doing, and I'm going to really try my hardest to remember the pleasure I am getting from those small moments. And let's hope for everybody we can remember that and relish and keep those in our lives, and not get back into that hamster wheel, that treadmill that honestly sometimes felt absolutely relentless. No lie, you know, business and life can be really hard and really difficult.
Because so it's never enough, is it? It's never enough. It's never enough. Always just trying to make the hamster wheel go even faster and fit even more in, and we've been forced to slow down, and it feels good to a lot of people, and I should feel guilty for that, I think. But what you've just said is fantastic, and I absolutely agree 100% to keep those things that actually were really important. I've spoken to my two sisters who live nowhere near me more in the 2 months than I've spoken in the last year.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But why don't we do it? But we're reminded now how important and how rewarding and how good we feel as people, because we're making those connections. Those little things are so important. And I think that's really relevant, you know, if we stop looking too far ahead and just look right in front of our noses in our local communities, because it's all here. This is all we need.
It's actually in front of us. And do you know what? This is lockdown lesson number 42 today. Why have I never done these before? Why have I never put on a load of amazing business people who love their community to tell us a little about them and to share a bit of expertise? Why have I never done that before? So I'm going to continue with these. They probably won't be called lessons, but I think we need to do something maybe on a weekly basis, because it's taken this just to shake me to go, hang on, if you love your community, Sam, you need to show it, and you need to, you know, get these fantastic business people on and tell their stories. So I can't wait to carry on talking about them.
Oh, well done. But it's great. It's great. I mean, you must feel good about doing it. I'm feeling good about sharing my thoughts. It's all these little ripples, isn't it, that have a big impact in the end.
And they inspire people, and people are connecting behind the scenes, people didn't know about. And it's fantastic. I'm absolutely loving it. It's probably the best thing we've ever done since we started Ashdown Jones. And it's nothing to do with something else. Nothing, is it? So yeah, it's great. No, that has been fantastic. Now, where should people go to find a bit more about Lisa and Ginger Bakers?
Okay, well, if during lockdown you can't get to Plumgarths and we are still closed, we are making plans, by the way, for a reopening, what we're going to be doing. But for now, our website is full of all information about us, and it shows you all the great products that we sell. So the whole range that are available wholesale and to the everyone in the street, really. So that's just search Ginger Bakers, and it's there. We also have the usual social media channels.
You're quite big on Instagram. I would have thought it's quite an Instagram business, is it?
Yeah, we have had, we do Instagram. We've been a little bit quieter while we're all on furlough at the moment, and that will be revving up again as soon as we get back in that kitchen.
It'd be nice to rev up with some new likes and follows, wouldn't it? So if we can go and get everybody to like and a follow, then we've got a little bit of an increased audience when you do ramp up again.
Yeah, yeah,
all right.
That'd be great.
I put your socials in this as well, but that's been fantastic, Lisa. I really appreciate your time. I know you've got other stuff to do, and I really appreciate your positivity, and your need to give back shines through. So, and I think everybody will feel that. It's been some lovely things to hear from you today. So thank you.
Well, a pleasure. If anybody has any questions about small businesses, and we might not be able to answer it all, and we're not necessarily a shining example, but I've got experience.
Yeah.
Support other people with anything.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. That is lovely to hear. Thank you. And yeah, like you say, business owners, you know, we're in a position of responsibility, and we can help, and we've got some, you know, ability to be able to help people. So we should step up. So thank you again, and hopefully people will go over and give you a little like and a comment and a share and a follow. So thank you. All right, Lisa.
Thanks, Sam. Nice to talk to you.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.